Jamal, Muzala is here with us. First of all, thanks for stopping by. Good to see you. The result, it got a bit unnecessarily tight. So what do you think about the second half?
Yeah, I think it's a bit of a lack of focus. I think this happens. I think we're so happy to come away with the 3 points. But I think our focus and energy dropped a little bit, and against a good team they will punish us for that. So if we want to go for our goals, we have to keep our level high at all times.
But 3 points, the important part, as you mentioned, especially looking ahead to the Klassiker next week against Borussia Dortmund. It's going to be a different kind of game, most probably, but the results now in those recent weeks were better after that little dip maybe in form. How important is that going into such a big game?
Yeah, very. Like I said, our mindset going into each game has to be the same, and throughout the whole game if we want to keep winning games. And I think after our little dip, we've picked up form again. But we saw today if our focus or anything drops for a second, then we can get punished. So going into the game against Dortmund, we have a week to prepare, and we go in ready.
And finally, back in the starting 11, your injury, it happened in July 25, so it was a very long time, and you said it was like the toughest time of my career, and you're still such a young player. So how are you feeling being back now?
Yeah, very happy. I saw throughout the game that I definitely need some games. I think it's different coming in than starting as well. It's a different type of rhythm that I still need, but I'm happy with today. Ran a lot, had some good actions, and now I just go into the next game.
One more question from my side. How much percent are you at the moment? What can the fans expect?
I can't say that. I think for me, I always try and go into the game 100%, but I think obviously I need some games. But I think if I'm on the pitch, I give everything that I can, and over the games I'll hopefully keep performing better.
Vincent Kompany is here with us. First of all, congratulations, 3-2 against Frankfurt, dominant first half. The second one, what are the topics on your list you want to talk about with the team?
Yeah, I will speak about both topics, the first half and the second half. I think in the second half, it's not the full second half, but for sure after the 3-0 we got out of our rhythm a little bit. The game was stop-start. In the moments that they had, they did better than us at the end of the game. And they believed that they could create something, and they created something out of nothing, and it's exactly what is dangerous in these type of games. But then, like I said, I don't forget the full game, because we were extremely dominant against a good Frankfurt team. We were creating so many opportunities. We could have scored more. And then it's just to learn from the last, 20 minutes or something, that we can never take games too easily. Every team is capable to get a result.
What exactly is it that you have to learn or do differently, especially looking ahead to next week's game against Borussia Dortmund, which is certainly a team that will approach this different than Frankfurt did?
Yeah, but we will test them as well. So it goes both ways. So I think we will do it a lot different than a lot of teams they face. But the truth is we were quite stable. We got a very good clean sheet against Leipzig. We got a very good clean sheet against Werder Bremen, successive. And today it looked like we were going to get another clean sheet. But maybe the learning is, these little moments, if you let the team back into the game, then you change the dynamic of a game, and anything can happen. But okay, Dortmund is a top game, and I think we will rise to the challenge.
And also we witnessed something interesting. You had 3 players who had 4 yellow cards. You wanted to bring Tar on, but then the result changed. You benched him. The same thing with Goretzka. What happened?
No, and I said to the players, I said, the day that you guys are a coach, you'll understand. It's not. No, it was a typical. It was everything coming together at the same time. It's 2-0, I want to do the changes, then it gets 3-0, then I want to do different changes, then it's 3-1, and then I prepare for that, and then all of a sudden a player is touching his calf, another player is touching his hamstring, and so I think the important is to be able to adapt and be flexible. And I told the players, look, sometimes it happens, and they'll understand when they coach us. But we made, I think, the right decisions to finish the game and win the game.
One final question, and maybe I can help out here. Will you be able to watch Leipzig against Borussia Dortmund tonight? Do you have the right streaming service available, or you need some help there?
But I'm used over so many years to be in these situations where you are in a battle with whatever team. I can watch the game, but trust me, I will not be emotional. They can win 5-0, it won't matter to me. They can lose 5-0, it won't matter to me. I'm interested because it's our next opponent.
All right, then,
thank you.
All the best.
Thank you so much. Looking forward to next week. Thank you.
3 points indeed as Bayern Munich get the job done. It will be over to Borussia Dortmund later on as they face Leipzig to see if they can keep pace with the Bavarians. But let's go to our crew pitch side, Anna and Ova, because guys, as Ale was saying, Bayern get the job done, but concerning stuff from them with how they closed out that game.
Yeah, we got your concerns. Clear the danger, Patrick. How do you assess the situation that led to the second goal of Frankfurt? Because one situation, we just saw that, it can change nearly everything.
Yeah, it can change a lot, really. But I heard a lot of good things in the studio already, that Bayern kind of invited Frankfurt back in. And actually, it was Joshua Kimmich providing that kind of opportunity for Frankfurt with that very risky pass, trying to find Min-jae. This is something that you can allow yourself doing that late in the game to maybe open that door again. And that's why Frankfurt in the end had a little bit of hope, but Bayern made it over the line and won this game. But they have to be more cautious with these kind of situations.
And we have to talk about the amount of chances Bayern had. 22 shots on goal, so they could have scored more goals.
And they should have, maybe.
They should have, yeah.
Bayern is a team that usually really tries to close the deal and always goes for the next one. They tried, we can't say anything less, but they weren't really effective, weren't really efficient with the opportunities they had. And that's why this game in the end felt a little closer than it should have been.
And let's talk about Johnny Burkhardt. He took the penalty, he took the responsibility. It's the first time he's back on pitch since his injury. So how much hope does that give to Eintracht Frankfurt?
It's important. I mean, he's a very important player up front. It's a different type of player than Bahoya, for instance, or Can Özun, who is also missing still. So he gives this team a different approach. And I think you could feel that once he was on the pitch, that there was a different kind of energy up front, something different Frankfurt could do, and that might give them hope for the upcoming games in the Bundesliga.
And at halftime, we also talk about the lack of confidence they had in the first half. So you already mentioned it was better second half. But regarding this topic, what do you think? This
is something that I'd like to ask the coach really what he addressed at halftime, because the team was acting different. They believed maybe a little bit more. It took that opportunity, that penalty, to give them a real belief, kinda. But the team was performing much better the second half, and you see now what can happen if you believe in yourself.
And of course, one important thing Riera had to change and to work on was the defense. Before he arrived, they had conceded 45 goals. Since he arrived, 1 against Union Berlin, which was a penalty, and today 3. So do you see some improvement overall?
I mean, it's hard to say, especially with the totally different defense that he had to put on the pitch. The starting defense was not there, so we shouldn't count those 3 in maybe today. But it still takes a little bit more time to really see what his impact on the team really is.
I was just looking to my side because we asked for Johnny Burkhardt, but he hasn't arrived yet. So right now we're tossing it back to you, to the studio.
Yeah, thanks, guys. It'd be interesting to get some reaction there as Frankfurt really came into that second half, Ale. But of course, we've been talking about it, and you've been pointing out exactly what went wrong for Bayern in that second half. I'm sure Vincent Kompany will be having a word or two. Well, what kind of words do you think he's having? Because look, this is not his first rodeo with Bayern. This is not a new Bayern. They have a lot of experience. Why is it that in this half of the season, we are seeing these little slip-ups where they're inviting pressure? Yes, the title is still very much in their hands, but you don't want to flirt with danger too much.
And to your point, it's not the first time that this sort of thing happened.
Yep.
It happened against Augsburg in a very similar fashion, in which it felt like Bayern Munich were in control of the game until they weren't. I go back to something I said a few minutes ago. When it comes to Bundesliga play for Bayern Munich, they have to set their own standard. They're competing against themselves. And I think the players are very conscious of this, and so is Vincent Kompany. But it's hard when you're so dominant, when things happen so easy for you and so naturally for you, to actually be able to match that standard all the time. And the tendency has been in this second half of the season, certainly since January, that whenever Bayern Munich feel comfortable enough in the game, the energy level drops.
Yeah.
The intensity drops. And it's
Bit of
only
complacency.
and it's only natural. It's a human reaction. It's not specific to Bayern Munich. It's a human reaction. If you feel you're so much better than everybody else and you're already winning the game 3-0, your tendency is to kind of, well, let's just keep the ball. This team is not about just keeping the ball. This team is about going and pressing the ball and being on the front foot and creating chances and scoring goals. They're not very good about speculating with a result. It's not what they do best. And so I would, if I were Vincent Kompany, continue to remind my players, we evaluate ourselves, against nobody else. And today, against ourselves, we did not pass the test. We won the game, but we should be much better than what we were today.